Here at GarageBound LLC, not only do we believe wholeheartedly in Miller welding equipment, but we also believe wholeheartedly in Miller safety products for your body. These gloves, super good fitting. These are the MIG welding gloves. They work good for just regular general work gloves. The jacket doesn't let anything in, so your skin is totally protected as well as your clothes. I don't know, can't tell you how many shirts I've caught on fire or got wrapped up inside the grinder. That's just not going to happen with these products. The 9400i titanium hood is a great addition to the shop. It helps eliminate a face shield, so you're not having to waste time. Stop, take your grinding shield off, stop, put your welding shield on. You know, you just flip it down. Ready to weld or grind. Michael Brandt here with GarageBound LLC. Today we're working on some custom exhaust parts that go to a vintage semi-truck. This truck's being restored, and these gussets here that strengthen this joint were bad, mismatched, and so we had 2 new gussets broke. For doing this job, we have the Metabo variable speed grinder. It's 13.5 amps. It runs at a max capacity of 9600 RPMs. What we have to do is clean up these welds where the cast iron meets the carbon steel. That junction, we're going to V these out and then re-weld it using filler rod, this 99% nickel. So once we get it down to a certain point with a hard rock, we're going to get this surface smooth here and then clean up all the old welding slag from the previous fabricator. Then we're going to switch over to the Metabo variable speed grinder using a preferred flat disc. Now if you take a close look, this flat disc is wrapped all the way around the edge, and this is going to give us a perfect advantage to get down in there, dress that junction, and then we can re-weld it using the Miller Dynasty and the Blue Demon weld for their 99% nickel alloy filler rods. If you look closely, you can see right here that whomever most likely stick welded this didn't have the penetration that was needed because there's a crack right here all the way in this seam. So they didn't have the right type of filler when they were welding this cast iron to this carbon steel piece. You can also see how well this preferred abrasive, I was able to buff here, buff here, buff here. You know, these 2 portions right here, you can get all in the same motion just by laying it down or up on its edge, and you're still cutting up here on this top edge. Super convenient. The longevity of these abrasives is just amazing compared to maybe some of the other types of products that you'd be able to buy at a welding supply store, Home Depot, or even Lowe's or Tractor Supply. It's a German-made product. We'll give you a cover shot of the catalog for your own ordering purposes. We're just showing the differences here of what a regular buffer pad looks like, and very handy tool, accessory. Use them all the time, but when you need something a little bit more to get down in a crevice or a rounded area, this preferred flapper wheel that's wrapped around the edge does an amazing job. Okay, so there's some inconsistencies with these parts, the previous damage. There's a couple brackets on the inside here where at one point in time the owner of this antique semi had straight pipes welded to this. This trough right here is actually meant for a muffler that will go in there. So the customer's asked me to cut 2 brackets off here, and you can see it's left some spots that need some attention. We'll use the Miller 211, fill these areas back in there and there, and a couple places on the other side, and then we'll grind those smooth again. So we're going to use the 211 here. This is probably one of the best machines I have as far as versatility. You can weld on 110 at a maximum amperage of 130 amps, or you can have it plugged into 220, which it is right now, and we're going to be able to run 211 amps if we want. But we just got it set toward the higher end of 1/8 inch. It's the control panel on here is super friendly, super easy to use. My material is 1/8 inch, so I like to weld hot, make sure I get good penetration, so I'm going to go up to the upper end of that 1/8 inch mark. Also, right here is going to say MIG steel C25. That setting is where we're going to have it today, where we're using C25 shielding gas. We're using 030 wire. There are 3 settings here. You can go in and dial it in manually to put your wire speed anywhere you'd like, or you can use the auto set feature, and it starts out at 024, 030, or 035. So 035 is not what we're using. We're using 030. I have it set on there. Miller really underestimates the capacity of the welders. This is a 3/8 machine meant to weld 3/8 inch material. But if you turn it all the way up and then turn the wire speed down to like 80 or 90, you can actually weld 1/2 inch, and you can actually see the new metal penetrating and digging in plenty enough for holding. So we got it set up the way we want it right now. We're going to go ahead and buzz these spots in. There we go. We'll take some time to grind these flat again. I'm going to use this NI99 Blue Demon TIG filler rod. It is 3/32 in roundness. And we're going to use that right here to join this cast iron to the black iron pipe and weave it all the way through here around the perimeter. We're going to be using the Dynasty 280DX. Turn it on. We got a foot pedal for amperage control. The really cool thing about this machine is that it runs on single phase or 3-phase. Right now we have it into single phase 240. We got a maximum amp draw of 53 amps, but this machine is going to put out over 280 amps. It's rated for 280 amps, but I say that because the display says it's about 283 amps when we have it fully loaded. So you want to make sure that you have it set on DC. I have my process set on TIG high frequency impulse, and my output is RMT standard. I have it turned all the way up, so I have full machine amperage that I'll fluctuate through this foot pedal. Also, we're using the Miller Coolant 4 water cooler to set up to it. So it returns the coolant here, goes all the way through the torch head, wraps around, goes back into the machine, and gets pushed through with the water pump through a radiator with a fan on the back side of it that helps cool that. Really important when you're welding aluminum for long periods of time, your torch will get very hot. If you have a water-cooled system, then you'll be able to weld and hold that torch all day long without having to burn your hand up or a torch. This one also has a flexible head, so if you're out of position a little bit, you can turn it right to wherever you'd like to have it. I found, especially in beginning TIG welding, that the most important thing with TIG welding to get quality welds was to be as comfortable as possible. whole lot better when you gobble it up mess we had previously when we started. Then again, being very clean is very important to get quality oil. Okay, so we're ready to put our gussets in here. They're not an exact match, so when I first set it up here, it was sitting a little high. All I did is take it over here, marked the places where it was touching, put it on the vise here where we got a nice round curvature, and hit it right here. Three hits like that made it a whole lot closer to fitting. We have to maintain this surface here, nothing can go beyond it. That flat surface is a bolting point to where this thing mounts. So as long as we get it to fit just under that, that's something we can fill there. We're nice and tight right here. You can see we're gonna have to heat it. We're tight here. We'll heat it through here and put a clamp on it and clamp it together to get it to match the rest of those curvatures. But for now, I'm going to use the Miller 211. Where it is fitting good, I'm just going to tack it in position. This thing does not get solid welded out. Previously they just had stitch welds about every 6 inches. What we'll do is we'll do 2-inch stitch welds every 6 inches like it had before. But so that it's got a nice appearance, we'll take and measure our 2-inch stitch welds equally on both sides so that it looks nice. This is my customer, James from Truck Service Inc. here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. He had us do this project for him that we've been covering over the last couple of days, making these brackets better because they were, this gusset here on one of them was mismatched. The factory originally had problems with the cracking right here next to the cast iron and the carbon steel. So they came up with this gusset design here to make it more strong so that it wouldn't continue cracking. And on the original 2 pieces when I came and got it from James, one was rusted, had holes in it, and the other one was all cobbled together. And you looked like bubblegum welds with 2-inch welds hanging out here and there, and just looked like hammered dog balls. So James called me and asked me, can we fix it? You know, he's restoring this truck. He's going to be doing some shows with it, and I was going to just ask him a couple things about this truck. What year is the truck?
It's a 1980 Peterbilt 352.
About 352. And how long did it take to paint this massive thing?
A good week.
A good week just in paint. Now, when you started restoration, how deep did you go? Like frame off and do the frame and then put the engine back in it? Or?
We haven't yet. We kind of started backwards. We were just originally going to paint the truck and use it. And then once we got started, one thing led to another. And so we basically got paint and then we go back and do the frame later. That's one reason why we want to do these, because it was keeping us from doing the frame until we got all this done.
Okay, that was a big hurry. Yeah, well, it's a beautiful looking truck. Tell us about some of the shows that you plan on going to.
I plan on going to some of the ATHS shows around local. Nothing major. It's basically a working show truck kind of thing. That's what that is. Crossville, Cookville, Sneed, Alabama, a few places like that.
Cool. Does your family enjoy riding around the trucks with you?
Yeah, they do actually.
Yeah.
Grandkids.
Grandkids love that. They want to have horn, don't they?
Yeah, I let them drive around the lot a little bit.
Really? That's a good experience. I remember when I was a kid, my dad used to let me dig holes in the field with his backhoe, and I thought I was as big as ever. I was a big kid.